Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto, and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the opening round of the 1951 season, the Swiss Grand Prix. But before we get into the meat of this video, I'd like to thank everyone who took part in the straw poll. It is very much appreciated. And I would also like to thank everyone who's been watching these videos. When I started this new series, I was quite nervous that no one will want to watch something like this. But I guess I was proven wrong. In fact, I've been receiving more views than ever. So thanks again for all your support. It's quite humbling to know that there are people out there who would watch my videos even though there are other YouTubers out there who make better content than I do. So really, thank you. Now let's look at the poll results and see what team Andrew will be driving for this season. De Graffenried's Maserati, Chiron's Maserati, and Alfa Romeo all receive 1 vote. Simca Gordini received 2 votes, Ferrari 3 votes, Talbot Lago has 6 votes, but the team you guys wanted me to drive for the most was BRM. They received 7 votes. That was a very close battle between Talbot and BRM, but now with all that sorted, let's take a quick look at the season. It started on the 11th of March and ended on the 28th of October. It consisted of 22 races, out of which 8 were championship races and the other 14 were non-championship events. The season was won by Juan Manuel Fangio with 31 points, or 47 if we count the shared points. Ascari finished the season in second with 25, or 28 points with the shared points, and Jose Froilan Gonzalez finished in third with 24 points, 27 if we count the shared points as well. The first championship race of the season was the Swiss Grand Prix, which was held on the 27th of May. It had 24 entries, 21 of which actually took part in the race, and there were a total of 7 retirements. The race consisted of 42 laps, which were completed in 2 hours, 7 minutes and 53 seconds. Juan Manuel Fangio qualified on pole with Farina in second, Villoresi third, Consalvo Sanesi fourth, and Toulouse de Graffenried in fifth. The race was won by Fangio. Piero Taruffi came second, 55.24 seconds behind Fangio. Farina was third, 1 minute 19.31 seconds behind. Sanesi finished in fourth, 1 lap behind the leader. And rounding up the top 5 was Toulouse de Graffenried, who was 2 laps behind. And finally, the fastest lap was posted by Fangio, a 2:51.1. The track is exactly the same as it was in the 1950 season. The only real difference is that I'm actually starting to like this version of the track. As I mentioned the first time we were here, before the latest patch for the mod was released, the track looked quite different. And it was a lot slower as well. Don't get me wrong, it was still fun, however you had to be a bit more careful. The height map for this circuit has been completely remade, making it flatter and therefore faster. Overall, it's very fun and I enjoy driving around here. The only problem is that we will soon have to say farewell to this circuit, which is a bit of a shame, but anyway. So here we are in qualifying, coming around to post our first lap, a 2:18.6, which is around 4 seconds slower than Peter Walker, so I'm hoping that we can improve on that as the session goes by. We really need to try and do better. A little bit later on, as I was coming into this hairpin, I downshifted a bit early and caused my car to spin around, so I'm losing a lot of time here, and obviously this is not going to be a good lap. Then later still, coming around, I post a time of 2:17.8, which is an improvement, but not by all that much, so let's hope we can do a little bit better than that. And now finally, this is our last attempt. We cannot do anymore unless we get disqualified. That's a 1:17.474, which, well, it is an improvement, but not by much. And I totally wanted to do that. And in case you are wondering why I'm using this camera, well, you'll soon find out. Anyway, here we are at the grid walk. We have Juan Manuel Fangio on pole, Ascari second, Piero Taruffi third, Peter Walker is 4th, and Jose Froilan Gonzalez is rounding up the top 5. Next we have Villoresi in 6th, Consalvo Sanesi is 7th, our guy Andy Higgs starts from 8th, his best start ever, Felice Bonetto 9th, Chiron 10th, De Graafenried 11th, Luigi Fagioli 12th, André Pilet is down in 13th, Simon is 14th, Nino Farina is all the way down in 15th, Louis Rosier 16th, Rudy Fischer is 17th, Cabantu 18th, Johnny Claes is 19th, and Robert Manzon is 20th. Only 20 cars on the grid this season, so quite fewer than we've gotten used to, and this is why I'm using the T-cam. It's less realistic, yes, I know, but I want to see what's happening in front of me, otherwise we'll crash in the first car we see. But anyway, the flag is down and we are off, and we see Felice Bonetto trying to overtake me there, but I regained the position. However, I think I did it on the under yellow, so I'll give back that position. And we are coming into this right-hander, and we can already see some cars losing control, and I broke there really hard as we try to regain our position. Fagioli overtakes us, but we are still in 9th as we saw one of the cars spin out. And here is a replay of the start. Quite a lot of smoke coming off the rear of my rear wheels, but that is okay, quite frankly. As we can see, we are coming, trying to find our way, but I overtook a car under yellow flag, so I had to give that position away. And here we are, as we can see, locking up the wheels as I try to avoid collision with another car. And we're now looking at Gonzalez in the Ferrari coming around, losing control of the car, hitting those trees, and he's out of the Grand Prix. Next we have Consalvo Sanesi in the Alfa Romeo, coming around this right-hander, losing control and going up that little hill, hitting that overpass, and he's also out of the Swiss Grand Prix. Next we have André Simon in the Simca, who is coming into this right-hander, and we see a bunch of cars kind of trying to find their way. However, Simon thought this was enough for him. And now we have Cabantu, who loses control of his car, goes a bit wide off the grass, and he's now behind this building, phases through the building even, and what's happening here? Okay, so he's behind the wall, and is unable to find his way back onto the road. So that is it. Those are the first 4 retirements of the session, and we already move up into 4th place, so that was quite handy for us. However, not so handy for the AI, as we see quite a few free cars on the side there in the pits. But we need to soldier on as we start lap 2 here, and we are approaching Juan Manuel Fangio, who seems to be out of the race. It seems that we have even more retirements. Here we can see Juan Manuel Fangio in his Alfa Romeo coming around, hits the wall, loses his front right wheel, and he's out of the Swiss Grand Prix. Then we have Luigi Villoresi coming into the same corner, losing control of his Ferrari and deciding that he had more than enough. This is Fagioli in his Alfa Romeo coming around this right-hander, hitting that hill there, and he's out of the Grand Prix as well. Next we have Bonetto in the other Alfa Romeo doing the exact same thing as Fagioli, hitting the overpass, and again he retires. This is André Pilet in the Talbot Lago, comes around, hits the other Talbot Lago, loses a wheel, and he's out. This is Rosier coming around this right-hander. He loses control, hits that wall, loses his front wheel, and there is Pilet coming to collect him. Now we have Johnny Claes in this yellow Talbot Lago coming through this right-hander and hits Rosier, and he's now upside down and out of the Swiss Grand Prix. Quite a few accidents on this lap. And finally we have Ascari in the Ferrari coming into the hairpin, loses control of the car, spins it around and decides that he also had enough. So that's a total of 8 retirements in one single lap. That's more than half of the field is already out of the Grand Prix, so not a lot of people left. And we move up into second with Peter Walker leading the race 17.2 seconds up the road. So we have quite a lot of catching up to do. This is lap 3 and Peter Walker is pulling away significantly, so I don't know how well I'll be doing. But we are pulling away from Louis Chiron as well, and we see here Rudy Fischer in the Ferrari coming around and just as everyone else did, hits the hill and he's upside down now and out of the Grand Prix. Now we have Robert Manzo in the Simca, I believe there, loses control of the car and decides that he had more than enough. Finally, Farina in the Alfa Romeo there does what I believe Cabantu did, loses control, goes off onto the grass, and as we know, there is a safety barrier between him and the road, so he will not be able to rejoin the track. He is well and utterly out of the Grand Prix. Well, the number of drivers is thinning quickly, as we see Ascari trying to get back onto the track, but to no avail, and now he's upside down. So we just started lap 4, and I barely avoided there that Simca and the Ferrari we've seen just a few seconds ago, but we are catching up to Peter Walker a bit. However, he managed to pull a gap later on, and he's now almost 20 seconds up the road on lap 4. I don't know if I'll be able to catch him. However, I should be able, however, because we have the same car, and we are now looking at Toulouse de Grafenried in his I believe that's a Talbot Lago coming around, loses control of the car, and well, actually that's a Maserati, sorry. He's sideways and he's out of the Grand Prix. So not a lot of people left in the race now, so I'm not really sure how things will be going for everyone else. And on lap 5, I'm starting to catch up to Walker significantly. I don't know what's happening. And we are through. We are in the lead. And Peter Walker is out of the Swiss Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe this. There are only 3 of us left in the race. And here we see Peter Walker in his BRM coming around. He hits that Ferrari at the side of the road there. Spins around violently. Of course, in real life, he would have been flung out of the car because, well, they didn't use seat belts back in those days because they thought it was a lot safer to be thrown out of the car than to be stuck to it. But anyway, Peter Walker is now out of the Swiss Grand Prix, and including me, there are only 3 cars on the track. And unfortunately, there is no one left that could pose a threat. And now, as we are coming around on lap 8, I've just lapped Louis Chiron there in his Ferrari. But now on lap 14, coming around to finish the race, we take the win. Kind of a bittersweet taste in our mouths because, well, everyone who could have posed a threat in the race has retired. And there are the results we see. Andy Higgs wins. Louis Chiron second, Piero Taruffi third, and we see Peter Walker posting the fastest lap of the race, which was in fact more than 3 seconds faster than my own fastest lap, so he could have easily won the Grand Prix. And here are the retirements. As we can see, pretty much everyone retired, especially the big names Fangio, uh, Gonzalez, Nino Farina, Ascari. All the big names have retired, so it made this win quite easy and leaving us with quite a bittersweet taste after it. I really would have liked to have some competition. And by the way, I haven't said this until up until now, but I did increase the difficulty in that I turned AI strength up to 110%, and it seems that it was all in vain considering that everyone, well, most everyone retired from the race. Not a good sign, not a good sign at all. So here we have the career statistics. Andy Higgs entered 8th Grand Prix. His best start is 8th, no pole positions yet. Best finish is 1st, 3 wins, no championship wins of course. A total of 34 points, has 3 retirements, has completed 173 out of the 216 laps, has 2 bronze trophies, 3 gold trophies, and as an extension, 3 podiums. So now onto the tables, we see Andy Higgs taking the lead of the championship with Shiro in second and Tarufi third. Peter Walker gets a point for his fastest lap, but he obviously retired from the race. We saw him. And, well, the standings are quite, well, self-explanatory, not much to talk about here. Anyway, that is it for the Swiss Grand Prix, the first round of the 1951 season. Quite of a disappointing result, but, well, for most of the AI drivers. Again, I really would have liked to have some competition, but I guess that was a bit too much to ask for in this race. Our next race is the Indianapolis 500, so I'm hoping that things will turn out a little bit better there. But remember that in the previous Indianapolis 500, every single driver retired, so let's hope that won't happen again this time around. Otherwise, it will make this season quite pointless. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, stay sharp.